Hello YouTube. Today's project we're working on, once again, the Firebird. So this project I've been avoiding for probably 2 years. I'd say 4 years ago, I repainted my wheels and I hated the way it turned out. The paint I used, I swear if you look at it, it chips. I also went with a black. I went with a black and a silver, and it's actually supposed to be more of like a gunmetal gray and a silver, and I don't really care for the way it turned out. The other thing I don't like about it is I've got a lot of flaws in the paint. So what happened was I used those templates. They sell template kits that gets taped on over top of the silver parts, and then you spray the gray part around it. And what happened was the templates didn't stick very well. And as I'm spraying the paint, they're literally peeling up and paint's getting underneath them. They also didn't go right to the edges. It was awful. I hated the way it turned out. So it's kind of a hassle of a process. So I've been avoiding it for a while, but it's finally time that I don't have a whole heck of a lot left to do on this car. So it's time to get busy and repaint these wheels once and for all. So the way I'm gonna do it this time though, I've seen other pictures of people online that did it with masking tape instead of templates. And rather than mask off the silver part, they painted the whole wheel with the dark gray first. And then they just used masking tape and painted around the raised up edges and then painted the silver spokes last. And to me, that makes a lot more sense. And it ends up looking a lot better from what I've seen in pictures. So that's the process we're gonna do today. I'm going to get the car positioned in the garage so I can get it up on jack stands and get all 4 wheels off. Then I think we're going to attack it with some paint remover and a power washer at the quarter car wash. Strip the paint off. I am not taking the tires off. I don't see any reason to. I'm just going to mask the tires with plastic and go ahead and prime these things and get them painted. Try to get it done over the next 2 or 3 days here. So let's go ahead and get started. So while I'm at it, I may as well show you these jack stands that I really like using. I got these a while back on Amazon. They're called the Unijack. This one's rated for 4,000 pounds. They're Power Built is the name brand, Unijack. And it's got an integrated jack stand and a bottle jack in one. And the jack stand part of it's adjustable height. And then you start jacking it up and you've got these locks in place here that automatically lock into place as it goes up. It's got hooks on the jack stand that as it goes up, it locks it and it locks it and it locks it. Then you can lower it down onto the jack stand and make it real secure. And then it's real simple. Seems like it's a very sturdy, elegant solution. Instead of having separate jack stands and a separate jack, this does both. And it hasn't let me down yet. I've crawled under the car, shake it, rattle it. It seems like it's a really solid thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the lug nuts off of these wheels and get the wheels off, get some paint stripper and get started on this. Okay, I got the wheels off of the car. There they are, those are the wheels. And I'm gonna go to the auto parts store now, get some aircraft stripper, powerful stuff. And I'm gonna take that with me up to the quarter car wash, spray the stripper on, let it soak in, and then blast the cars with the power washer and bring them home, hit them with the air compressor, dry them off. So tomorrow morning I can put primer on and start getting going on this project. Okay, I got the paint stripper rinsed off. It got almost all the paint off. They're not exactly perfect, straight down to the metal. That would have taken media blasting. My car is more of a rat rod, 10-foot distance, looks great car than an actual straight up show car. I didn't feel like putting in the time or the money into doing the media blasting. So just did the chemical stripper, power washing, and then I just, any little bits of paint or loose primer that was still left on the wheels, I scuffed it up real good with the Scotch-Brite and then blew it off with the air hose. Then what I'm gonna want to do next is mask them off before I do the primer. Since I'm leaving the tires on, it's a good idea to let the air out of the tires so that you can compress them down a little bit before you start putting plastic on. I've got a cool technique I saw on YouTube for putting the plastic on. and I'll show you that in a little bit. But it helps when you're taking the air out of the tires. Instead of sitting there holding the valve stem, pushing the pin in and trying to let the air out, and it goes slowly. There's a tool, looks just like this. You can just use it to take the actual valve stem out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and show you how that works. All right, take the valve stem cap off. And you got this tool here, and it's got this kind of round cylinder with a slit in it. And that's designed to go down inside. And you just rotate it around until it drops down into place. And then just lefty-loosey, because the actual insert is threaded. So you start backing it out, and it's gonna let all the air out in a hurry. Take it all the way out. Make sure this doesn't go flying. That's what it looks like right there. Just want to make sure it doesn't go flying when you let the air out. And it's going to let the air out a whole lot faster than trying to hold the pin down. All right, we're back at it today. We're going to continue on with the wheels. They got to dry all nice overnight. So I'm going to go over a masking technique. It's not my technique. I saw this on another YouTube video. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I think it's the best way there is to mask wheels with the tires still on. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how this other person did it on their YouTube. I think it's awesome. I've heard of using playing cards and sticking them in around the edges of the wheels. I've actually used manila folders myself, try to stick them in and like fold them down so you're not getting any overspray on the tires. But this technique uses plastic sheeting, and to me, it's fantastic. So we're gonna jump into that now. Okay, so I got some plastic sheeting here. It's for a drop cloth. It's got at the local hardware store. So I'm just gonna unroll it a little bit. Want it to be slightly bigger than the entire tire. Then I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off. Okay, I got a square of plastic, a little bit bigger than my wheel. So I'm gonna find the center spot and just hold my hand on the hub here. Put my finger through, pull it up, and make a tube out of it. And then you're gonna go roughly hold it in the center spot and go about to the valve stem. So somewhere in there. Just gonna cut it off. I'm gonna use scissors instead of a knife. Make a nice clean cut. So now I've got a hole right about the size of the wheel. And the idea is to tuck it in underneath between the wheel and the tire. So the tire kind of sticks out above the rim a little bit, so it helps to step on it. Make yourself a little bit of a gap. And then just tuck the plastic in. Keep working your way around. Step on it, tuck the plastic in. Step on it, tuck the plastic in. Just keep on going all the way around. Okay, just like that, you got your wheel exposed, your tire's completely covered, and this plastic gets in there pretty tight. That's probably not going to go anywhere, and you're ready to start putting some primer on. Okay, time to lay down some primer. I got the valve stem masked off with some blue tape. Got some Rust-Oleum self-etching primer, and just gonna put on probably 2 coats of primer. Then I'll be ready to let that dry and start putting paint on. Okay, got a couple coats of primer laid down on the wheels. just letting them bake in the sun for a while now before I go ahead and put on my first coat of paint. Did want to give a disclaimer. You can do a much better job redoing wheels than I'm doing. I really should have had a media blasted, taking it all the way down to bare metal, and probably in a controlled environment painting instead of in my backyard. But this is just a quick and dirty way to knock it out on a car that's more rat rod than show car. Plus, I figure in about a year, 2 years, I'm gonna be ready for tires, and at which time then I'll get new wheels and new tires. So this is just like a stopgap, trying to make these wheels look better than they did before. Okay, now it's time to lay down some color. I picked up 2 cans of paint from the local MPD warehouse. It's supposed to be the correct paint for the color and for the Rally 2 wheels. So the one is the inner Rally wheel gloss gray, and that's going to be for like the lower area, or the part that goes up around the hub. And then the Rally wheel argent silver, that's going to be like the spoke part of it. And normally you would spray the silver first and then use a template kit. I hate the template. It didn't work. It was peeling off. It was a nightmare. It didn't work. It didn't cover exactly the way it should. So I'm going to try this a different way. I'm going to lay down the gray first. Then when that's dry, I'm going to mask off those parts of the wheel and then spray the silver, which is the opposite of the way that people normally would do this. So we'll see how this works. All right, here we go. All right, so what a debacle these wheels have turned into. NPD, National Parts Depot, love them. They're great. I got a local warehouse, so I love to be able to go to there and buy stuff without having to order it, and be able to pick up stuff, not pay for shipping. It's wonderful. Their descriptions in their catalog are hot garbage, and I bought 3 different wheel paints, and 3 of them, one was a light gray that it turns out it's for the inside of the wheel on the back side, and 2 were silver, bright silver for the spokes, but they were labeled as different paints and for different purposes, like they were supposed to be the charcoal. I ended up just going to the local Ace Hardware and picking up a can of charcoal paint because I didn't feel like driving back to the MPD warehouse again. And as far as I can tell on their website, they don't even have the right color. So pro tip, make sure what you're getting at the warehouse from NPD before you buy anything. Here we are, got done with the first day. Got the wheels primed and set up with some dark charcoal. I ended up just using, let's see, Rust-Oleum Deep Slate is what it's called. I think it's gonna look pretty good. Hopefully I'm gonna let these bake tomorrow in the sun all day, and then Sunday, so today's Friday, Sunday I'll mask everything off and then spray the silver. Then I'll let that bake for a day or 2 and then hit everything with clear and be done with it. Hopefully they turn out okay, because so far I'm kind of wishing I just left well enough alone. All right, have a good night. Bye. Okay, back at it for the final day on the wheel restoration. So I masked the wheels off, and like I said earlier, I'm doing it without the templates. I had terrible luck with the templates, so I chose to put blue tape on. And all I did was run it down these edges, like overlap it all the way around, and then I just went through with the razor blade and I scored it right along the edges, peeled it off. I think it came out pretty nice. I'm optimistic on how this is going to turn out. I'm hoping it turns out better than the templates. You know, maybe this is the right way, maybe it's not. I'm sure most people use the templates. Maybe there's a lot better ones than the ones from NPD. The NPD ones just didn't stick. They were lifting off for me. It really turned out terrible. So I'm hoping this turns out better. Getting ready now to spray some Rally wheel argent silver, and hopefully this turns out. Probably put 2 or 3 coats of this down, peel off the masking tape, and then put several coats of clear coat on all the wheels. Let them bake out in the sun for a day or 2 here and put them back on the car. Hopefully it turns out nicely. Okay, and we're back. So I sprayed the argent silver, been baking for a couple of hours. I'm gonna go ahead and use a razor blade now and just score around the edges. I started pulling some of the tape off and it wasn't pulling off quite cleanly. So I'm just gonna score around all the edges with the razor blade and then pull the tape off. Then I'm gonna hit all this with some silver, or with clear coat, not silver. And and be done with these. So here we go. Okay, today should be the final day on the wheels. So now I'm gonna rehab my center caps. So I'm using these Rally II wheels, and I got these center caps where the insignia is kind of beat up. Looks kind of worn out. I think somebody even might have tried to color it with a marker in the past or something. Anyway, I picked up from NPD. They've got these inserts that are designed to fit right in there. And it looks pretty good. It's quite an improvement. So I don't think that they have any adhesive on them. I thought they were supposed to be like a decal, but I called NPD and they seem to think that there's not. And I scraped a razor blade across here, nothing came off. I don't really think that this is like a decal. I'm gonna have to put some kind of glue on here. I think I'm just gonna use some ultra black, just spread it on there real thin, I guess. So I'm gonna clean these with alcohol and wipe them down, let it dry, and then just put a little dab of the ultra black on there and let that set up. So move on from the center caps. Okay, here's the finished product on the wheels. They are far from perfect. I probably could have done a lot better job with the prep and putting paint on in 90-degree heat. Direct sunlight probably wasn't the greatest idea. It's a far from perfect paint job, but it's pretty good. Much better than it looked before. Not so many flaws in the paint. I'm not sure if using a better template is the way to go or taping them the way I did. I think you're probably gonna get the same quality of lines either way you do it. Maybe a professional painter could do a better job or do some better prep work. This was good enough for me. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was, and it'll do until I need tires, and then I'll probably just buy some new rims anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these mounted up on the car. We'll see how it looks like that. All right, so let's end this video right where we started. Squatted down next to the tire. So there it is, that's the final product. Got the trim rings on, got the center caps on, got the new emblems installed there, got the chrome lug nuts, had those before. Paint job ain't perfect, but it's good. It's a couple little flaws in it, but it's pretty good. Definitely an improvement over the paint job from before. I don't know how much I like the gray versus the black that was on there before. I think the black kind of really worked with the car. So it's possible that in a couple months or in a year, I could be pulling these off and repainting them again. Probably do a better job, take them all the way down, media blast it, do all that stuff, maybe even powder coat them, and then do the second coat of paint. Or just leave well enough alone, and when I need new tires in a year or two here, just go ahead and buy a new set of rims, something maybe 17s or something like that, something a little fancier, maybe a little bit more bling to it. Anyway, hope this video helps anybody that wants to do a budget restoration of some Rally II wheels in your own garage. You can do it pretty cheap, just takes a little bit of legwork and a little extra prepping probably than I did. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. If you like our content, please like, comment, subscribe. Sure appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Bye.